So good day everyone and welcome to today's class. So today we are going to be looking at what we refer to as the word professional skepticism and auditor and word and fraud as well. And this is in syllabus section B completely as well. So like every one of us, we are all aware that from the beginning of the audit to the end of the audit, you have to exercise the word a professional skepticism. So what does professional skepticism mean? And the learning outcome here should be, we need to understand what professional skepticism is. And how important is professional skepticism to the auditor? And what situation or area does auditor need to apply a high level of professional skepticism? And we're also going to be looking at some past questions as well. And we'll be looking at like 3 past questions when it comes to professional skepticism. So which are what I've sent. One is what? One is Tony what? One is Tony Group. We also have the word the Northwest, and we also have the creative word limited as well. And the second aspect that we'll also be looking at today is in relation to fraud. So what are the duties of the word of the auditor when it comes to fraud? And what are the duties of the word of the management as well when it comes to fraud? So basically, professional skepticism basically comprises of words, 3 elements. And one of the most important elements is about the attributes. Because when you say professional skepticism, you say what is an attitude of words, it's an attitude of questioning mind, a critical exam or assessment of the word of the evidence. Like, in audit, we usually look at it from what if someone is saying something to you, at least in practice, I think my partner will always tell us that always have the mindset that it's like they are not saying the truth. And that's why some of us remember we used to say that word, the evidence that the auditor you generate by yourself is more reliable than what the client is providing for you. And the first thing we do is to assess their internal control before we even rely. We test the internal control. We perform what we call a test of control. So when the test of control shows that their internal control system is strong, then that is now when I can reduce my words. I can reduce my substantive test. But it is compliance test that will determine the level of my substantive test. So we should always have that attitude that something is going to go wrong, in regardless of how good their internal control system, in regardless of how strong their internal control system is. You as the auditor as well, you need to be alert that, something bad will happen. When they are presenting the evidence for you, you need to be what? You need to critically examine it. If some of us will remember when we did what? Internal works, when we do practice management. In practice management, there are some times whereby you see a scenario where the auditor was what? The auditor was they present an evidence for you, and at the end of the day, you just do what? You just accept it like that without even doing any other thing. You didn't verify, no any other thing. The auditor just accepts. Look at the last question that we saw on words, and I think that was on money laundering. So whereby the auditor just concluded that, okay, everything is good, everything is fine. And it is a cash-based organization. An organization that engage in cash business a lot, they are prone to money laundering. So a critical assessment of the word of the evidence provided by the management. Don't just take it. Even though we assess their internal control, I'm still referring to that, and their internal control system shows that it's fine. You still need to check it as well. So what are the elements of words? What are the elements of professional skepticism? There are basically 3 elements. We have what we call the attribute. The attribute is the personality trait of the auditor. As the auditor, you must be what? You must be ready. And that's when we get to work, by the time we get to the planning now, which is the most important aspect, when we perform analytical procedure, if you discover that, oh, their financial statement is what, let's say their financial statement is increasing, then I need to be what? I need to be very, very what? There's like some simple parts question will be doing. I need to be very what? You need to be very, very open. Oh, their financial statement can increase, and maybe they what? They overstate their financial statement. Just like, for example, now look at this particular question now. We are not yet there. But let's say, for example, something like this was presented to me. I have the award. This is a draft. I can see that the word now. Look at this figure now. Last year, your gross profit is what now? It's 5.5. And this year, your gross profit is what? Your gross profit is 7.1. Then I need to be skeptical now. What is the main thing that can cause this? At least this is a gross profit. It is affected by just two components. It is affected by the revenue and the cost of sales. So mind you now, I may be thinking in negative terms. So once you calculate the ratio now, when we get to planning, the next thing you do is what you convert it to risks. Yeah, oh, they could have what? They could have overstayed the word now. They could have overstayed their revenue and understayed their cost of sale. That is professional skepticism. You being open that, okay, this thing is I think it's wrong. Maybe doing something bad. So the professional skepticism need to be applied from the beginning of the audit to the end. So you as the auditor, you need to exhibit that. You must have that attribute. Don't always agree with what they're saying. And the mindset as well. The mindset is the question in my eye. Being alert during the audit. From the beginning of the audit to the end of the audit, you need to be alert that, oh, something bad will happen. They'll provide the wrong evidence. Even though they said, oh, the document is on our SharePoint now, and they send the document to you. That's still not enough. That's why sometimes the auditor will also go in essence to do circularization. Why are we doing circularization? And before we even do circularization, we seek the permission of the client. Abi? So why are we still going to that extent? It's because we just want to exercise this concept to the fullest. So the second element is the mindset. And the last one is the action. It's the response of the auditor as the result of any problem identified in the application of the professional skepticism. So action is the verb. You need to just you also need to take action. And how you take action? You doing review, you doing the recalculation, you asking for more evidence, you asking the client for explanation is the action. So action is the verb. Is the action that you as the auditor you're going to take. So it's personality, at least the client will see that, this auditor, something like that. They may have one special concept that, you're like police or something. So you also need to have that mindset. You also need to be to be aware, to be on alert. It's just like, sometimes as a normal human being as well, like I'm expecting something bad to happen. So, if that particular thing occurs, it is not really going to really have a significant effect because it's something that you have prepared for. So as the auditor as well, you need to prepare for it. These people will do something wrong. And you need to have that the personality should be there. The mindset should be, and to be honest, it's the mindset that is, to me, I feel that it's very important. Because if you have the mindset that, these people are going to do a wrong thing, then that will push you to take action as well. And you apply this professional skepticism throughout the audit process. It's not only at the planning, it's not only during the evaluation, even during the review, you apply it. It's from the beginning to the end, throughout the process of the audit. Even by the time we sign an engagement, or maybe when we send an engagement letter to them, you still need to be open, because before we send an engagement letter, we do a client screening. One of the client screening is, please, I need your some of your company registration. I need a brief profile of your director. Who are the significant shareholder? During that stage, they can still withhold some information. What are the list of bank accounts that you have? I think I'll share a scenario here sometimes ago now, whereby what the client is saying, like they have 5 bank accounts. So maybe you just have like, you have with Barclays, you have Lloyds, but they didn't declare another one. So what now happened in this situation is like, when you now send a mail, like for example now, I can have, let's say for example now, I can have a different bank account with just one bank. Just like we can have different accounts. At least it's very possible that you can have different accounts in different currencies. So I can have this one, I can have another, maybe this one is in US dollar, maybe this one is in euro, maybe this one is in naira, in different currency. So sometimes when you not send a mail to the what, you send a mail to their bank account, oh please, I need the bank statement of my client. So what the account officer just did is the account officer just send all the what? Just send all the what? For example, maybe in the banking, they may have a software that once I just put your words, maybe your name, it will bring the list of account number that you guys have. So the banker just did what? Just download everything and send. When you now discover that, okay, but the client only specified that they have 5 bank, or like you have 5 accounts with this bank, and what the account officer sent to you was around 7, like 2 different accounts that the client does not disclose. So let me now ask now, what do you think will happen, and what do you that shows the word now to anybody? Like, oh, they declare that we only have 5. But maybe the banker just made a mistake, just send everything. So you now send additional 2. And that one is even in another currency. So what do you think you do, Madam Amazing, in that situation? What does that show? We have not even started.
Okay, first of all, you check whether the financial statement is active or whether
It's
the
active.
transaction.
Yeah, there's still
Okay.
transaction going on.
Okay. Yeah, it tells you there's something hidden. There's something going
Sure.
on there that they didn't want to reveal to the auditor.
That just it. So from the beginning to the end, you apply this professional skepticism. So you even have that mindset, even sometime in audit, when you be like, because before the account officer will reply us, he's still going to send a mail to the client that, oh, so company requests that I should share this, because the client will give the bank the permission to go ahead before they were able to send the statement. So even sometimes, there can be a collusion whereby even the account officer will even say that, okay, how many should I send to them? So please just be ready throughout. Just have that mindset. Even the one that you can have that concept. Now the one that the account officer is even sending may not be right. And that's why sometimes some jurisdiction permit to go to the central bank directly. Whereby, for example now, at least in Nigeria, most you have a BVN. So I can write, there's some situation whereby you can circularize the word the CBN. Because the CBN will have the words, they have the database of everybody, and they can forward it to you. So even sometimes, but that is like the highest end. But sometimes you may not really want to do it because you just say, let's take it. So far that they have a good internal control. But if you still want to go deep, you can even ask the regulator as well. So right from the client screening, even from the beginning, it's not even when the audit starts. Throughout, before you even send the engagement letter, one of the content of what before we, if you look at tendering, before you even go for a tendering sale, another thing we request the client, oh, I need a brief profile of your director. And they'll write a good story about some of their director. But the time you discover that, oh, this is your director, maybe there's a certain allegation on that director, but they didn't disclose it. It's still within your board. So what happened? Because if there's a certain allegation, sometimes just jurisdiction, that person just needs to what? At least investigation is being conducted. So you just need to stay at home for a while, pending the what, when the investigation will conclude. But you still see that the director is still active, whereby you still what? There's still monitoring going on. So throughout the process of the audit, right from from the client screening to to planning, to work, to gathering evidence, and to to evaluating the evidence as well. So area in audit, where auditors should exercise high degree. Planning is very, very important. And that's why I'm talking about this analytical procedure. It's a very, very important stage. Because because why planning is important is because it is at the planning stage we conduct risk assessment. And how do we want to talk about audit without risks? How do we want to talk about risks without audit? It's true. So a high degree of words of professional skepticism should be what? As you are looking at this financial statement, and I'll just be thinking in negative terms. Oh, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. So you can even say, let's say a word now. Use the word, the information provided. Look at the two part. Say use the information provided and the ratio calculate, identify and describe 5 audit risks. There's a risk here. One of the risks I can do now is you can overstate your revenue. It's a risk. You understate your cost of sales. It's a risk. Last year, their operating profit is what is 5.0 and now it is 5.1. So just a material what? The material movement of 1, which sometimes we look at is not really material. But you can see now look at it from the bottom line. Profit before tax is what is 0.5 last year and now it is what 1%. This is more than 50% increase. More than 50, more than 100. So the inventory last year is what is 1.2. Inventory last year is what is 1.4 and now is 1.9. And current asset is the most difficult area in what when it comes to SFP. Last year, so you can see now, look at the flow. Because there's some time that you can do what all the ways to do cash operating cycle. Because the inventory is increasing now, so inventory days is likely to increase. The receivable days is also going to increase. Then look at the payable. Payable last year is 1.2, now is 1.6. So we are not also paying, but we don't have enough cash. So you can see now that there's a risk here. Like these people can just be pushing the inventory to the customer. There are some sales team that they are not good at all. So you just be pushing it to the, but the customer will not. And when we do the expected credit loss now under IFRS 9, with what? It will affect them. So you can see now there's a risk because your inventory is 1.9, receivable is this. So you can see now receivable is increasing. These people are not paying. They are not. And you can see the cash as well. In draft 2023, you can see the cash is also reducing. So there's a problem. It may just be that, maybe majority of your revenue, you're just trying to push it to the customer. There's no what? The customer that cannot buy. So doing the planning, a lot about fraud in the financial statement, yeah. So I think we solved a question last week as well, relating to fraud, but it's not. I think that is under auditor liability that there's a fraud in payroll. Although before you can sue the auditor, at least please don't forget the 3 conditions. The first, the 3 condition is number 1, the duty of care exists, and the second one is the duty is broken, and the third one is the client suffer a loss. And you can remember during the last week we said that the 3 condition is it's present, and if the 3 condition is present, then you can go ahead to sue the auditor. But you still write a little bit of story that fraud is not auditor responsibility. But if you do it based on that 3 assessments, the duty of care exists, the duty is broken, and the client suffer a loss. So as a result of that, you can sue the auditor. So management estimates, to be honest, especially if you have a client on some client in in oil and gas, in energy, they usually have a lot of estimate, and their estimate is usually more on IS 37 because you need to make a provision, which is IS 37 does about that. But and the provision is usually on the dismantling cost, the commissioning. And even financial statement, the standard, they are full of words. Financial statement is full of estimates. And once you have estimate, there's a risk. Once you have estimate, there's a risk. So any management statement is also what is an also area of risk. Disclosure is also another very word. Disclosure is also because in financial statements, there are some time you can comply with the words, you can comply with the standard, but for you to do a disclosure, it may be very, very difficult. And that's why I think in words, I think in majority part of the world, the regulator usually give room for a small entity, not to what, for a small entity to be, we should give them what, like a relief. We should give them some forms of what, some relief when it comes to disclosure, because there are some entity whereby you don't have the capacity to do that disclosure. So I think what do we used to call this? I think I was looking at it even I think in Nigeria as well there is, but there's some time. This is a word now. This is a company in the water sector. So I think in UK they have what IFRS 102, the very popular standard. So there's what we call qualifying words. There's what we call qualifying entity. So and if you meet that particular criteria, you may not what? There are some disclosure that you may not have to do. So the standard word now, the standard will give you, so this is, you can say, this is a Portsmouth water. And they're saying that, so if you are within a group, and that's one thing we'll check in what in audit as well. If you are within a group, there are some certain disclosure that you have to do. But if my parent company is going to do that, then I may not do it in my own financial statement. So if the words, that's in audits, if they say that, oh, I'm not going to do the disclosure, but every accounting standard will talk about the measurement, the recognition, and the disclosure. So they may be having problem on the disclosure part. The next question that we are not going to ask them now, but you're not what? So far that you didn't qualify as a what? As a qualifying entity. You didn't meet the criteria. Then you have to go and employ people that will help you to do the disclosure. So look at this now. This is just for your knowledge series. I said the company meet the definition of qualifying entity under Financial Reporting Standard 102 and has taken the advantage of disclosure exemption available to it in respect of that. So then now go ahead. The company is what now? The company has been consolidated. The company financial statement has been consolidated into the group account of this. So meaning now that there are some disclosure that we're not able to do. My parent company will work now. My parent company will do it. But before you can, so if a client said, oh, I don't want to do the disclosure, then you as an auditor, you're skepticism, okay, what happened? So if I'm doing the audit of this financial statement now, Portsmouth Water, and they say that, okay, I'm not doing it, then do you meet the criteria? Oh, if you meet it, then I'll be expecting the ultimate parent to do it, to do the disclosure for them. So, but there must be a word. So if you feel that the management, they are taking advantage of anything, they are omitting certain disclosure in the financial statements. It may be, this one is just an example, related party disclosure. Then for you to be able to omit, there must be what? There must be a certain criteria that you have made. So just like this now, especially on their financial instruments, Portsmouth Water is not going to show it. So, but their ultimate parents will want to do it. So in that situation, then there's nothing. So let's go. Close. So that is a lot about compliance with laws and regulation. That's also another thing. So anything that has to do with what laws and regulation, protecting the public interest, we need to try as much as possible to be in it a lot for that. So, and it is not only limited to this, but this one, they are just in very, very they are very, very high. So as auditor, please try as much as possible. Exercise a professional skepticism from the beginning. From the beginning of the audit, even before you start the audit, from client acceptance, you can see right from the client screening process to planning, to gathering evidence, and to what to evaluate with evidence. From the beginning to the end, you have to do it now. You have to exercise a professional skepticism. So we have some words, we have some practice questions that we can do relating to what? Relating to professional skepticism. So there's one in what? In June 2012. I think I've sent it as well. We also have in what? In June 2015, and we also have in December 2016 as well. So I think we can go now. So, but before then, don't forget the three element attributes, the mindset, and also the words, and also the action. So let's start with, there are three. I think we can look at two together, then you guys can take one as well. So we have June. I think June is this. So here now. So the first requirement, they say what? Explain the importance of professional skepticism in planning. Okay, sorry, cool. So this is June. Yeah, so let's start from this. So this is the first one. So the B part. So I think we'll still be looking at this later in the long run. So in the application and in the audit note. So this is the B part, which is for what? Which is for 6 mark. So they say in relation to the audit, which is the payroll, explain the meaning of the term professional skepticism and recommend any further action that should be taken by the auditor, which is for 6 marks. So let's start now on Quarter. Let's say you are responsible for the audit of Quarter Limited, and you are currently reviewing the working papers of the audit for the year ended 28th of February 2012. In the working paper, dealing with what? Payroll. So meaning that the area of focus now is on what? The area of focus now is on payroll. The audit junior has commented as follows. Several new employee has been added to the company payroll during the year. And please, payroll is a what? Is a very critical area. So there's several new employee has been worked. And so let me even ask now, at least before we even start, what are some of the evidence that you need from this word? Now let's even stop. New employee. What are some of the documents as the auditor you expect that the client should provide it for you as a backup? Because this is a very critical area. Can anybody start? When employee, and what document do you expect? Like, oh, you employ what, Mr. A. Well, what document do you expect the company should watch to back it up for you? Because there's possibility that there's going to be a ghost worker. Okay, go ahead, please. What do you think?
Probably the employment letter.
Okay, that's fine. Madam Yanoloa, what do you? Employment letter, that's cool. What else do you think you expect? Employment letter.
And the salary, probably it will be in the employment letter too. The salary placement.
Yeah. Yes, cool. And even sometimes we may not when it comes to salary, because there's usually confidentiality about that. So they'll still open to us, but sometimes they may be doing I don't know, it's true, because even if you look at some some employment contract, they'll do a watermark confidentiality. But they'll still they'll like, but when they have such question, I will just send them the regulations that, oh, as the auditor, I have access to all book.
Of course.
So I even know how much you are paying your director, so you must show. So there's no word, they won't hide anything. So apart from the employment letter, what do you think else? I think that's it now. Abi, employment letter will cover everything. Yeah. So that's just it. Employment letter. Even sometimes we can request for copy of the interview.
Okay.
You can request for a copy of the interview, and that's why, especially when maybe some of us, if you remember, when you attend some interview, they need to be jotting something down. Do you guys do you remember such?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why if you go for an interview, they'll be like, okay, we'll still be they'll be taking some notes. So the copy of what of the interview note can also serve as an what as an evidence.
Evidence. Okay.
Like if you attend some interview, they'll be writing something. Okay, all those when you are doing all this your star approach. So there'll be so those copy will still what will require it for work from audit purpose. So let's go back. Several new employee has been added to the company payroll during the year with combined with payment of this. Wow, has been made to them. There does not appear to be any authorization for those additions. Even because before you have what, there must be authorization. And that's why sometimes, I don't know, maybe some of us you notice this, organization can say that I want to employ people. They will advertise and later they will withdraw it.
Yeah.
So you can see now this is a problem. How will you employ someone without authorization? And this is payroll. And look at the amount, sir. 125,000. When I questioned the payroll supervisor, he made the amendment. She said that no authorization was needed. Why? Is it possible? No authorization was needed because the new employee are only working for the company on even though they are contract. It's not a word. It's not like sometimes we can say that the it's going to be what a fixed time what a fixed time contract. Even if it's maybe 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, they still need to be authorization. However, when discussing the staffing level with the management, it was stated that no new employee has been taken. No, to be honest, I like all the two, but the wala is too much, not sure.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting task, but because there's some scenario that you see and you'll be like, wow, why? You just be like, I don't even know sometimes. It's just going to be like a headache to you. Like, okay, because these are some of the things that we'll be saying in practice. There was a time, what's the excuse that this man said? I can't remember, but it was very funny. Even if I inform JS1 student can never tell me that. So he said, however, when discussing the staffing level with management is saying that no what, the only employee has been taken during the year. So where are they now? Other than the test of control plan, no audit work has been performed. Wow. I don't even know. How do we approach this question now? So I think let me try to word. Okay. What do we even want? What do you think we should write there? So they say what? So this first thing is a 2-in-1 question. The first thing is saying explain the term. So the first thing you still need to do is we need to first of all explain it. So which let me just bring my mouse here. That one is what is just story. So that's the first thing. So the first thing that we are going to do now is to do what? Is to we need to first of all explain. And if you I think the marking guide for this then was if you explain, they'll give you what? A 2 words. They give you a 2-mark for it. So the next thing that we now left is we now need to take what? Action. That action that should be what? should be taken by the what? By the auditor. So, class now, let's make it entire. What do you think? Action by the auditor. So, I'm not interested in the explanation, June. So, what do you think? What are the actions?
I think the auditor should request for the payment evidence.
Okay. One. Thank you so much, man. Request for the words for the payment evidence. What else? The auditor should take. Think of it. What do you think? What do you expect the auditor should do? Because you explain and they said that, oh, what are the action that the auditor should take? So I'm really interested in what do you feel the auditor should do rather than writing story of professional skepticism.
Okay, but since there's no approval, there's no approval at all.
Yeah, there's not approval at all.
Mm,
I like that first statement. Request for the payment evidence.
yeah.
At least we request for the payment evidence. We should be able to know
Okay. Yeah,
who
exactly.
do you make that payment to. What else again can you request for? Think of it. Let's say they give us payment. At least we need to bring up like 4 points now. I even need to know.
The financial statement.
No, I have the amount.
Okay, you have it already. It's true.
They have the words. They say it's 125,000. I think it's 125,000. So I just need to. We look for payment evidence. That's fine. And I'm looking at what do you think is going to be the next one. My brain is not even working here. After payment, if you request for payment evidence,
maybe you can request for schedule of, as in the entire list, the schedule for personnel deductions and everything for the company, list of employees.
Okay, that's one. Okay,
approved list of.
We used to call it what establishment list. Establishment list will show the details.
Yeah.
Because they are paying them.
Okay.
Happy? They are paying them now.
Yes.
So I think we say they should request for what? For payment evidence. The next thing we say, okay, they should request for establishment list.
The filing of annual returns. I mean, there we can see how much, like the payee payments, how much they are paying on the employees, and like you mentioned as well. From the filing of annual returns, we can be able to, at least they will justify the other deductions.
Don't worry. Okay, let's just leave the point and we'll explain it further. What do you say? Please, can you repeat that? Point.
The annual returns filing report.
Okay. Okay.
And maybe interview the employees.
I've got people that they did not authorize. Management said that nobody show up now. Happy? There's one statement that way.
You say that
when discussed, however, when discussed the staffing level with management, it was stated that no new what employee has been taken. So there's not anybody that will discuss with self.
They are automatically they are ghost employees. So
yeah, it's not authorized.
So
we should apply skepticism, as in start probing that amount.
Okay, so I
maybe
think
there might be something going on.
Yeah, annual words, annual return filing. Abi, is it payment or annual return filing? At least to the regulator in some jurisdiction, every month, you need to tell us how many people you have, because there's a word. I think in UK, there's a particular tax you pay, which is what it's like a double taxation or so. Let's call it NI. So you're going to pay that national insurance. The employee will pay, and the employer will also pay. Abi now. So in that word, in that annual filing year, I will see it. I can see it because they will deduct the tax. But it's on the payroll now. I'm just confused here. I mean, the payroll people have it. Abby, let's not even know where we are. The payroll people have the record that people were employed, but there was no authorization. So I'm still going to see the request for evidence of payment, right? I should be able to know the details of people there. I should be able to see it in the establishment list, but is it going to be in the establishment list? Because if it is in the, you see, the establishment list is like the how do we, let me, another name for it is what, the head counts. That's like the establishment list. Please, let's think together. Is it going to be there? Because I've not solved this question.
Definitely it's not going to be there because
It's not going to
it's
be
only
there.
the approved ones that will
be there.
that will be there.
I think the best answer now is still what? Request for payment evidence.
Yeah.
So what I can do, establishment list, annual return what? Annual return filing. Another action that the auditor can take is also what? We can do what? We can say additional words, substantive words. Additional substantive procedure is what is needed. Then one action I would take is what? The words, the matter should be what? Be reported. Another thing is what is the control deficiency. And can also what tell the auditor is a very material amount. Control deficiency should be what? Should be reported. So those charged with what? Those charged with governance. That's like your senior management team. Because the management has confirmed that no people, so I'll give them what? Those charged with what? Those charged with governance. So I think so, and to be honest, this is like a fraud. Just a ghost worker. So you're also right. Lack of words. This one is just like just to buttress it. Lack of authorization. And so these are some of the things that the auditor can take. Request for the word for the payment evidence. That's fine. Because from the payment evidence, we're able to do what? Can able to know the words, the name of what, the name of people that they are paying that particular amount to, because the payroll or supervisor says something. When I questioned what the payroll supervisor, it made the amendment. She said that no authorization was needed because the new employee are only working on what, on temporary basis. So a lot of things, even what we can even say the word the employment letter as well, so is the things that the auditor can work with. Even so, the employment letter is also part. So at least the payroll supervisor can confirm that they are for what, for temporary basis. So you should be able to provide the employment letter, even though it is what is for contracts. So employment letter is also another thing that the auditor can request for. Yes. And regardless of the duration of it should be. So those are just what explain it, and recommend any further action. Don't forget, action is the verb. What do you think the auditor should do? So that's just what the examiner wants from you. And I think explain it first, and the next thing is what action should auditor take? What action do we feel that the auditor should take in respect to what? In respect to this. Please, everybody, are we okay with this? And these are what I think these are requests for payment evidence. That's cool. Establishment lease. You can also want to say this. So request for and thank you so much. I think you say make on. So you can also what request for the what for the annual filing to the regulator. So that's it. These are some of the things that the auditor can work. So like all this one is not action. This one is just like a word. So I can even delete this one off because it's not an action. So what the examiner is requesting for action. So it has to be a verb that the auditor should take. So you can also explain into what further, but these are what this one will give every one of us a snapshot of what the examiner explain. That's the word, the first thing. Then the second thing is about what are the actions that the auditor should take in respect to these. Please, are we all okay with that? Right, we'll take another one. Please, and is there any question as well? Does you have any question before we move on? So I think we also have another
question, but I wanted to say that the supervisors, except the supervisors have power to employ casual staff, of which the management might not be. Okay.
Because no, you know, this one is working in payroll.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's true.
The guy who has something to say about it, Nasha, that's true. Because if you can't even think of it, okay, let's even how is supervisor able to have there will be a collision of employee as well. Because it's not only going to be the one. So this is also an indicator that there's a control weakness in this organization.
Yeah.
Because how would they employ someone and you're paying 125,000? Several words. Can I even say there are many, several new employee. So from the word several now, and this amount is huge, $125,000 pounds jar. So let's look at what Tony Group, and that one is also on professional skepticism. So let's say explain the importance of what professional skepticism and discuss how we should apply by this. I think this is also like the theoretical part of this. Let's say what explain and this okay, so it's majorly what directed to the planning stage. So this one, there are sometimes that once you feel that is what the question that the examiner is asking is not really is not really case specific. So without even reading the body of the message, you can even just start writing. Because this one is just like from what we know, like, oh, explain the importance of professional skepticism. That's one. And discuss how can we now. So I can answer the first part now. Before, it's a 2-in-1 now. I can answer the importance of professional skepticism, then I can now start reading the case in order to link it to the case that is given. So here now. So one, let's say at planning stage, professional skepticism. The audit in within the financial statement, which results another one is that what professional skepticism is also what to help the auditor to exercise some evidence bring the feedback and help this evidence and this results evidence. Another one, let me just stop here. What the professional skepticism helps the auditor to critical to evaluate the assumption on what an estimate made whether it's appropriate. So I think so these are just theory aspects. There's nothing big there. So another aspect which they are also requesting for now is discuss how professional skepticism should be applied. In the words should be applied. So we now need to go back to the what? We now need to go back to the case now. So the first one, just the word in the exam, once you see something just showing on your screen, then there's something that you can just type in without even bother to read that, because this one is from the book. There's nothing what bigger. So for me to now answer the second one now, that is discourse. So let me copy this. Discourse. So the second part now, which is this, is to discuss how professional skepticism can be applied to it. So let's now read the case from the beginning now. Let's say you're an audit manager. It's a very good post though. Working in the audit of what? Sony Group. Use financial statement ended 31st of March 2015. This is the first time you are working on this audit, so it's a big tax. The draft audited financial statement recognized a profit before tax of what? Of 6 million and the total asset of 90. And the group manufacture equipment using oil extraction. Wow. And let me just tell you, once you are, at least I'm sure some of us will still remember some of our accounting standard very well. So once you are reading some of the case and they inform you what the client is doing, then please just now flash back now immediately. You need to remember the accounting standard that is more applicable to that industry. Okay, so once you're just reading and they inform you that, oh, this is what our client is doing, then you now need to also be thinking, oh, entity operating in what? In oil, what particular significant accounting standard do they usually use? Okay, goodwill is what is 10 million, is recognized in the words in the group statement of financial position, having arisen in several business combinations over the last few years. An impairment review was conducted on this by Savino Dante, the group finance director, and this year impairment charges this, so that's fine. PowerPoint. Don't forget the 3 concepts. As a professional, skepticism is what? The attributes, the mindsets, and the action. And what do we say? Is a questioning mind. Is an attitude of what? Attitudes of questioning mind and critically what? Assessment of evidence. So everything that you are saying, I always want you to see like it's not right. That's just one thing. So if you feel that something is not right, then you have a work now, which is the action. Then you also need to start working on how you can get the evidence rather than you relying from what the management is saying. So Savino has prepared a file of documentation to support the result of the impairment review, including notes on the assumption used, the calculation, and the conclusion. When he gave you this file, he made the following comment. So please listen to this comment very well. I do not think you need any evidence other than what is contained in the file. So please, do you guys agree with this?
No.
No.
We need all the evidence that we can gather.
That's cool. Yeah, so at least we are on the same page now. So that statement is what is completely out of it. The assumption used were straightforward, so you don't need to look into them in details. You can imagine someone presenting a file to you now, Madam Yanu, and he's saying that, oh, don't worry. And so everything is what? All the assumption is what? It's cool, everything is fine. You know, something will come to your mind that, okay, it's like this thing is not what? It's not right. So the assumption are words. Say the assumptions go further. It's consistent with how we conducted impairment review in the previous year. And your firm has always agree with the assumption used. So you can check that back at your audit firm. Wow. All of the calculation has been checked by the group internal audit department. It's that team now. Savino has also informed you that 2 members of the sales team are suspected of paying bribe in order to secure a lucrative customer contract. The internal audit team were elected to this, and they were auditing the cash payments and found a significant payment to several new customers being made prior to the contract being signed. Wow. Savino has asked that if our audit firm to perform a forensic what investigation to the alleged what to the alleged crime. So, which is still something that we'll be looking at forensic audit. So now, let's not focus on the word now. Let's focus on the goodwill. Let's look at the goodwill. So the draft financial statements recognize this. The client is in what they are in. So, like, these are wrong statements. I don't need the word. I don't need the for now. Just forget about this one. I don't need it because that one is from forensic, so which is out of the scope. So I need this thing. I don't think all the statement from here. This is our word. This is our focus now. So let's brainstorm to work together. How do you exercise professional skepticism? Let's go. What do you guys think? Are they right? Because saying our fame is what we have been what we have been doing. They have been doing it, and it's also saying that you can confirm more. So it's not. The guy is very odd. He's very honest. Like, okay, if you feel that what you are nowhere, you can go back to your fame and ask your what. At least it's going to be my partner. That who is that?
He's trying to convince the
so he's
auditor.
just trying to from the spot. He's trying to convince you that okay, if you are not sure, go and check the word. So one thing that we can do, let's even word. Once you are given any figure, just like we make mention during the last class, just try as much as possible to first of all calculate the word the materiality. So use the word the total asset. Is it material? And I think the materiality is between what's the percentage? If I forget, it's not 1 to 2. You guys remember? Yeah. So if it is what if it's between 1 to 2% of the total assets, so that is what. So total asset, please don't forget it. Once it's between 1 to 2% of the total asset, then it's material. Revenue is what? Revenue is also 1 to 2. Then profit before tax is 5 to 10. I'll be here. Profit before tax 5 to 10. Revenue 1 to 2. Then total asset is also what? 1 to 2. So let's use the word the total asset now. The goodwill is how much? The goodwill is 10 million. And most of the time, always use the word the total asset. So the total asset is 10. So 10 divided by 90 multiplied by 100. How many percent is that? Class. How many percent? There's a calculator. Maybe on the phone. How many percent?
Give me 1.
1. Okay, let me on it here.
Is it 10 divided by 9 multiplied by 100, right?
No, 10 divided by 90. The total asset is 90.
Okay.
So it should be 10 divided by 90 and multiplied by what? 100. So that's 11.1. 11.1. So that is what is already what is material already. So let's write something. Goodwill of what? Of 10. Where's the dollar sign? 10 million is 11.19% of the what? Of the total what? Total assets. So sometimes you can also show them as well, but it's not that bad. So just say, how do we get it? This is 10 divided by what? 90. Then multiplied by 100. So you can just do that. This is 11% of the what? Of the total assets. Material. To the financial statement. Because, and one thing that you can know is if that item, and another thing, please, if that when you are selecting, because most of the time they will give you two things. They will give you the word item, they will give you total asset most of the time, which total asset is in the SFP now. They will also give you another item that is for P or L. Look at it now. We have profit before tax. We also have total asset. So if that item is going to sit in the SFP, use total assets. It will be good. But if that item is going to sit in the P or L, then use profit before tax. Please, you guys get that? Hello? Like goodwill now. Goodwill is going to be in the SFP. So using the total asset is quite okay. Then impairment now. Do they have impairment, sir? Yeah. There's an impairment of word now because that is in line with IS 36. Intangible asset that you acquire through a business combination should be subject to what? So subject to impairment test annually. It doesn't mean whether there's any indicators or not. Intangible asset acquired through business combination should be subject to what? To impairment test annually. So the impairment is what now is 50. So I think we can write something about that as well. So what I would do now is, I said a good way of this, which is 11% of the total asset, is what is material to the financial statement, whereas the impairment loss of 50,000. So if you do 50,000 of the revenue, how much is that? What's the 50,000, sir? How much is the revenue? Profit before tax. If you say 500,000 divided by what? 9 million. Sorry, 50,000 divided by 9 million. How much is that? Can you guys help me out? 50,000 divided by 9 million multiplied by 100. How many percent is that?
That's 0.5%.
It's 0.5%. Okay, so let's go. 0.5, that is not material. So is what now? Is 0.5%? 5% of the what? Of profit before tax. And hence immaterial. However, this is where the professional skepticism is. And if so, that's just like the words. That's just like the opening paragraph. That if it is more than this, then it's likely going to be what? It's likely going to be material. So let's now be looking at the statement that the guy is saying now. I don't think you should need any further evidence than that contained in the words in the file. That statement seems to be wrong. So we can write something about this. Saying this, we don't need to look at anything. It seems to be what? It seems to be wrong. So work for let's go. So for downwards. Okay, so this is what we can work now. This is what I can write on that statement. So you'll be picking it as he's saying it, then you'll be writing on it. It's also saying that the assumption is straightforward, so you don't need to look. So you also pick this one. Let me change the color. This is also what is also a wrong. So you write on that as well. So as they are what in the exam, as you are saying all those bad statements that you're not convenient with, then rewards you'll be writing on that. And another thing is saying that assumption are what are straightforward. Assumption and the what? High risks. Bias. Because the assumption, they always try as much as possible to give an assumption. No, that's going to be very, very what? That will be very favorable to them because it's like expenses. You're debiting your P or L. And if you debit your P or L now, it's having impact on your profits. And at the end of the day, you can see it is from the profit that they want to pay them bonus or something. So they always want to make an assumption that will be very, very good. So saying this 50,000, I'm very sure some of us will agree. For them to be saying all those statements, it will be more than what? It will be more than 50,000. Looking at the behavior of this finance director and some of the things that he's saying. So in high rates of of management bias, an assumption can be what? Assumption can be returning to critically what? Evaluate the assumption. So that's one. What else again can we pick from this statement? I need that from you guys now. What do you think? Is there anything bad? Again, is there any statement that you're not convenient with from this finance director? Look at the comment as a whole. Please think of it. Do you feel like everything is right? Because he's still saying something further. Can we look at it, please? They said the assumptions are consistent with how we conduct impairment review in the previous year. And your firm has always agreed with the assumption used. So you should what? You should you should check. You should check back to what to last year audit file. All of the calculation has been checked by the head of the group internal audit. Madam Izzy, Madam Yan, what do you feel about that? That you should check to your what?
Yeah, it's a kind of a, will I say, it's a kind of accusation.
What do you
I
feel?
can't say accusation, but I think the auditor has to go back to their previous audit work and just to confirm that it wasn't a mistake, that they are relying on past
Okay.
on past evidence to do their present job.
Okay. I think I agree with that, Masha. Madam Yan, what do you feel?
I agree with her. I agree with
I
her.
should go back. We
You
can
just
do a
have to
mistake last year
reconfirm.
now. You know, for example, mistake can occur last year. Do we still need to
Yes.
carry it forward?
We can use it as an estimate now.
No, we don't have to rely on that though.
Because
In as much as we can, they just want to confirm whether it's correct that our audit firm actually did that.
that's what I'm not saying now, that we can make an assumption, and for the FD to be saying that okay, I can check back. I think for me to be saying that I can check back to my firm file now, it seems that finance director is sure that it's still the same assumption. Abby, if you look at it the way, but we don't still believe. Someone can say that, oh, go and confirm, and they know that is a lie.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they can still be saying that okay, it's true, and they actually know that. You know, for example, when people say that okay, go and check something, you know, they will feel like I don't know.
You won't go. They feel like
You
you won't go
won't
and
go
check.
that because like you are saying it with confidence, but sometimes,
Yes.
and that is why we are saying what professional skepticism. Even though they are saying that oh, go and confirm now, they can still be
Yeah.
telling lies. So saying that I can go and confirm with my friend, mm, I don't think that statement is quite what appropriate. Because even though, let's say, for example, let's even think of it in another way around, I can confirm, okay, that's true, but the assumption can be what? Let's say it's another audit firm, or let's say, okay, we are still the auditor. Let's say it's another junior, or maybe someone made that assumption that is no longer in our firm. There's one word, okay, we are part of the engagement team last year. At least it's not all of us that will be in the engagement team. Some people could have resigned. And maybe the guy made that mistake. So even though we worked, to be honest, even though let's even say that okay, I checked the file of the last audit file and it's still the same, but we don't say that because we agreed to it last year and we are still going to continue with it as well. So we still need to evaluate it because we can make mistakes last year, then this is also another opportunity for us to correct it. So how am I going to write something then, Asia? But I'm sure that you guys also agree with that because mistake can be made last year. It's possible because there's a risk. At least there's audit risks as well. We all know that. So because we won't say that well because we agree with them last year, then if the assumption is not right, then they need to change it despite their votes. Our firm say yes to it last year. So let's think. What can I do here? So we can say that the auditor agree. The auditor agree the assumption. Seems to be inappropriate. Auditor agrees. So agree. Because this is an impairment, and I'm talking from maybe from my own experience. And we can also look at it together. I can say yes today, but tomorrow I may not say yes. Because this is an impairment. Impairment is affected by current information. It's, let's say if you look at it from external indicators. So maybe the word based on last year, the external indicators of word of impairment is actually right. So if I look at it subject to the water recurrent situation, and that may not be. I hope you all get what I'm trying to say. So impairment is influenced by what? Is influenced by the environment. Because there are some indicators that will push you last year. At least you guys will remember now, which on under IS 36, we need to talk about the reversal of impairment. So maybe last year impairment occurred. This year, it doesn't mean that impairment occurred. Then we need to reverse it. So saying that I can go and check, okay, that's even another one that I can go and check with my firm. I'll still write about that one too. So if I agree with you last year, doesn't mean that I'll agree with you this year. So say disagreements. Last time assumption. Last time assumption. Which I guarantee. Be correct this time. So I hope you guys will agree with me that last year is correct, doesn't mean that this year will be correct.
Yeah.
So I think I can knock that one off. What else is he saying? No, so you can. It's also saying that what? So you can check back to the last year file. So is also what? Are you be the one that will be directing me?
Also saying all calculations have been done.
Yes, no. So all calculation has checked. Don't worry, I'm coming to that one. So you can check back is also another problem. So because as an auditor, I know because I don't even worry. Even sometimes you do audits. I'm a fresh guy to the team because I'm not part of the world. You are the manager. You're not part of the team last year. So I may not even want to be stressing. Go and be checking SharePoint for the working paper. So finance was, and most of the time, please you try as much as possible to be using the name. What's the name says? Savvy. So rather than saying finance director, Savvy firm. Okay, that's fine. So let me delete one off and just be using the name that's at least it's very. By the time you press Control F with the question, the examiner can see it. Advice. Last year. on. Was when it into filter last year. Then advising the audit team to check what the last year working paper is called. Verify. So we're advising the audit team to check the last year working paper is called in operation. So last year, as last year working paper would contain the basis of last year assumption, not this year. So this year the assumptions are about to be verified. What else? And that's all. Oh, that is that. What else? And I think how many points now? So this is just like one check with last year working paper. So this is one. They also make mention of another one. They agreed the assumption last year. So that's also two. Assumption is clearly was straightforward. So that is also another point that we have identified, saying that it's straightforward. You don't need further stuff. That's also worth like another thing as well. So I think this statement is also strange as well. So I think there's also one that you guys can leave that. His words. He's also saying you can also write on it, but we can just move on. He's saying that all calculation have been checked by the words. There's nothing that concern me with the words. They are group internal auditor. He say all of the calculation has been checked by the words. So since this is like, how many marks they give it now? So for every statement, that will be like one mark now. So like how many do we have currently? And if you look at now, we have done the words. We have done the impairments and the materiality. That's one. So this is two. So calculating this is like 1 mark as well, and we have made the word the comment. So this is one. We have two. That's no further evidence is what is needed. Then another one is assumption as straightforward. So this is one, this is two, this is three. Assumption with the current year, this is also another one. Then 7 as well. So I think to get the best, we can also go further. That the internal audit team as well has checked it. I say all of the calculation has been checked by the head of the world of the internal audit team. So we can also increase that as well. So let me write this then. Don't think there's any other thing left. So is your internal audit team all what? All calculation. Check by group internal audit words of the department. The internal audits. What happens? Calculation. Internet. So this is like the word now. Reperform. That's like the word, the verb now. So, and that's like a normal thing as well. If the internal audit team, they're also involved, it doesn't mean that we as the external, we're not going to check anything. So I think this is to the end of this now. And I hope you guys are getting it as well, please. So this director.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. So whenever any word, once in audit, once you feel any statement, you pick it up. And that's why in audit, when we do interview with their client staff, one of the things we do is we document it, and before we go, we ask them to sign it off. So it's not as say at the end of the day, you say that, oh, Wasiu, I didn't know what. So sometimes when you engage with the client staff and they give you a certain information, or you guys on the Teams meeting. So sometimes even okay, this meeting will be recorded. Let them know so that okay, it's not say at the end of the day, and that's why sometimes it's very important. Maybe when you're having a meeting and you feel like you want to record it, then you should seek their permission. So even though it is if it is face to face, by the time of the interview, we give them the paper that please sign it off. That these are the words, these are the things that we discuss in our meeting. Do you agree with it? So it's not as if I will go now and I'll present it. You say that word, you did not say it. So client acknowledging it is also very important. So their internal audit team has checked it, and it doesn't mean that we should not do it as well. So these are the words. These are some of the professional skepticism that we can identify from this case. We calculate the materiality, we look at the impairment as well. Then we focus on the statement. I don't think so. Any bad thing that you feel, any statement that you feel that it is not cool, then you pick it up. Then you write on it. Any statement that you feel that they are saying as you are reading in your audit exam, anything that they are saying that you feel that is not bad, is not good, Then you do what? You pick it up, you write something about it. And you can see now, I don't think you need to what? You need to, I don't think you should need any evidence other than what is contained in the file. And that's the problem. The assumption are what are straightforward, then that's it. You pick it up. Why you be telling me that? Then is in line with the word last year. We also picked that up. The audit team has what also. So as they saying it, then you just be writing on that. So this other one, which is on forensic fraud, that is not what. And I think when we get to forensic audit, then we can be looking at that as well. So that is that. And when we get to what, when we get to planning, and we can also be looking at what are the procedure that you are going to do to what are the procedure on what on impairment. Even first of all, one of the procedure, and please, once they ask you something like this, I think there's one summary IFRS. So I'm going to send it to the words so that before we get to the planning stage, there's one summarize what IFRS I have. So I'll send it. So just glance through it. Like for example, now look at this now. Let's say explain the principal audit procedure to be performed in impairment. Then you have to please flash back to what is IS 36. So if they ask what is employee benefits, so we have to know what IS 19 is saying. So please try as much as possible to also revise some of our accounting standard. And I have a summary of that, so I should be able to send it. But if there's opportunity as well, especially maybe some of us, if we are doing SBR, or we have done SBR before, so that will be cool. So let's look at Northwest, then we'll end it and go to fraud, and that will be the last one today. Well, yes, let's discuss how professional skepticism should be applied to the statement made by the management and the auditor of what regarding the outstanding legal case. So I think this is even the last one, so I can let me just guide us on how to do this one. Then you can take this as an assignment now. So let me copy. What are some of the things that I expect from you? So just try this. At least there are three. So we are able to discuss two together now. So you can just take this as an assignment. So what are some of the things is, but let's read it together, then you guys will draft it out later in the long run. So let's say you are the audit manager, and you always, but in the exam, you're always manager. Don't worry, very soon you become a senior manager. So you are the audit manager of this, responsible for the audit of what Northwest and Co, a subsidiary of Valerie. A different audit team is responsible for the audit of Valerie. Okay, so it's like we are the component auditor now. Tomorrow we'll still talk about what group audits. So we are the component now, because another one, Valerie is the word. They are the ultimate. They are the parent company. So Northwest now is under the word, the sub. So indirectly now we are the what? We are the component auditor. The audit of the Northwest Co for the year ended July is near completion. But the following issue require your attention before the audit report is already signed, and your final communication is made to the group auditor. So we are reporting to them. That's just it. In respect to the request information, the dry financial statement recognizes the profit before tax of this. So Northwest & Co has been making loss, for several years, and it generates insufficient cash flow to meet a significant debt obligation. Okay, before we even go, when this one will be more interested in planning when we are doing audit procedure. When the subsidiary is making loss, there's what we call comfort letter, or sometimes we call it a letter of support. So it is the parent company, because you can see now they are struggling to meet their debt obligation. And if you are struggling to meet your debt obligation, would that impact their going concern? Yes or no? Well, if you're struggling to pay, do you think it will impact their going concern?
Yeah.
It's going to impact the going concern.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure. So one of the things that we should do in audit when you come across this situation in practice is we are going to request for a comfort letter, or sometimes we call it letter of support. So there are some time whereby I think I was sharing what Portman annual report soon. So there are some time whereby if the parent company feel that the subsidiary is struggling to really pay. So one of the things that from the audit we used to request for is we call it what letter of support or comfort letter. You know, this particular company now is under a group and just so what we now need to do is what you request for a letter of support from them. So the letter of support will just be like, okay, if Portman, and at least to be honest, don't let me use Portman. Portman is what is fine. So there's a particular water company in the world, they call it what Thames Water. So they have been having problems for a while. So if you are if you are the parent company of that entity, the very I think it's the biggest water company, but they have been having a lot of problems. So they have different entity. So if the subsidiary is struggling, so one of the things that we can just request for is letter of support. So just like the parent company will guarantee that, oh, if there's any problem in the future, I will pay. So these are another thing that we should have in our working paper. Please don't forget. These are some of the things that we should have in our working paper. And also in practice as well, whenever they are facing any problem, not worse. So the company rely on the support, which is usually what they will. And it's just like, in Nigeria as well, there are some states that they can't stand alone without federation accounts. That's just it. So there are some states that it's not. If you look at the world, there's not really revenue. So that's why most of the time they will always rely on what is coming from the world from federation account. Without federation account, some state cannot survive. And that's also the thing that we're also talking about now. Without the support of the of the parent company, there are some subsidiaries that will not. They cannot even stand it. They can't. It's the parent company that will be It's the parent company that will be doing everything. So at least the company rely on the support of Valerie in order to continue trading. The management of Valerie Co has confirmed verbally that it will continue to support. So, but please don't take it. They will say it. I've seen a lot of this. They will say it, but they need to provide evidence of it. So why are they what? You can see now, why are they reluctant? But it does not work. It does not provide formal letter of support, despite a number of word requests. So you can see now that there's something going on. Let's go again. You guys will draft it. You are aware that Valerie is subject to a major lawsuit following an industrial incident which resulted in a significant pollution of agricultural land. And this is like a you see this scenario is like a water complaint. And there was a time, majority of the questions were developed when the significant stuff. You see this company, they have been having a lot of words. They have been having a lot of problems. Because this particular case is from the water sector. So the management, they have been having a lot of lawsuits, and it's not only majority of companies that engage in water. If your pipeline is not good, then they'll sanction them. You attempted to discuss the matter with the director of but they refuse, saying that. So since they have there's litigation as well, at least you have to be thinking of, at least when we get to planning, you have to be thinking of what's the name of this standard. Litigation, that's IS 37 now, Abby. So you attempted to discuss the matter with the director, but they refused, saying that it has already been investigated by the group auditor. Okay, that's fine. Because you are the component, so you have a little say. The group auditor informed you that the case is ongoing. Now, that's cool. and they have words obtained a satisfactory representation from both management and the legal advisor, stating that they were confident of successfully defending the claim. That's true, because if there's if there's a pollution, sometimes it's caused by the farmer. When you ask a copy of the representation, the group auditor refused, saying that it is a matter. Saying that it's a matter. To be honest, group auditor is not it's not your mate, no. And to be one of the things that I usually pray for in engagement, that we are the group auditor. But sometimes it's possible whereby, okay, this is what, let's say for example, this is EY in what, let's say this is EY in what in Nigeria, and let's say there are other entity, there's another entity, like the parent company is in South Africa, and it is audited by what, EY South Africa. That's very cool. But once you guys are not the same, wow. It's like you are reporting to your junior. Because my partner will report to another partner. And you can even say that, oh, maybe my partner as well, they have more experience. So there's nothing like experience in this case. So since we are the component now, we are reporting to the group auditor. So you can even see, I said that word, it said that the matter is relevant to the parent company and it is not relevant to the audit of what, to this. But how do we do consolidated accounts? Is it not going to affect the subsidiary? Because the subsidiary is struggling now. And they're also in a lawsuit. You can see there's a problem. So my own interest now is, how is this guy going to continue trading? That's what the most important thing. I have requested for a comfort letter now. They refuse. And they are in a lawsuit. And they refuse to provide it. You can see there's a lot here. Shortly after making your inquiry, you receive a phone call from the group engagement partner who said that the board of Valerie were concerned that you might modify the audit report of NatWest. That's just it. It said that as the only person with full oversight of the audit matter relating to the group, it did not think that it could be necessary to modify the audit report of NatWest and Co. And that it could impose an attempt to do so. It suggested that if the debt in the financial statement of the company was the reason for seeking parental support, that could transfer it to the group and the letter of support would no longer be necessary. Wow. So do you guys feel that what the group auditor is saying now is right? So I give you guys this challenge. What are you going to do? You pick, this is how you write it. Pick the word, just like pick the words. Let me do it this way. So this is how you should respond to it. Pick any word, anything that you feel that is strange. So anything that you feel that is what, any statement that you feel that you're not confident, you're not convenient with that. How many marks are? A 6 marks, so you should be able to see a 6. Assuming that 1 will fetch you you should be able to get 1. And don't forget, this is 6 marks, so maximum is 6. All right. So and there's a lot of issue. So let me help you out a little bit. One issue. We're already together now. Outstanding. There's one outstanding legal case. There's also what another one. Okay, like I even said, this one is what? This one is A. So these are some of the things that you can draft out. So we also have what? The statement by the management. They don't want to give what? They don't want to give you letter. That's also another one. There's also another statement that is not for you. Statement by the word, by the group words, by the group auditor. Yeah. And what else again? So that's what. So just try it. What's the name of the complaint? So that's just it. Let's now go to the word now. Just try it. How do you feel? Let's now go to the second part of this class now, which is on fraud. Is it fraud? Yes. To be honest, there's nothing much here, but it's the responsibility of the two party, and this also link to the what to our last class on what is it? Our last class on money laundering.
Yeah.
Is it money laundering? Okay, there's money laundering, and we also do what professional
audit
liability. Yeah. So you can remember there was a particular question then. So I think is it not this? I think there was one particular question that look alike. So there's sometimes the auditor. So there's a link, but who is responsible for fraud? That's the most important thing. Let me hear from you guys. Management is responsible for it. So management is what is their responsibility to what to, but the auditor as well. We also have, and that's why if you look at the answer that we talked about in the last class, that there's a fraud in payroll, and they are trying now to what to sue the auditor. The auditor will pay, because what happened in that case is that what we did not even perform any test on payroll at all. The audit team just concluded that, oh, last year their payroll is what is fine. So they did not even do anything during this particular period. So as the auditor, you are expected to what payroll is a very critical area now. So there's a what duty of care exists, yeah, and you have broken it because you need to perform a test, and the client suffer a loss. So in that case, we also make mention that the client will go ahead to sue the auditor because the three condition is what is present. So when it now comes to what's a fraud, most of the time, it's usually the management works, usually the management responsibility, but the auditor as well, we have responsibility to what a fraud. So any management, there's sometimes there's window dressing, messaging the figure, fraudulent in financial reporting. So risks of management bias in manipulating the financial statement to present a better result to what a shareholder. This risk is what is linked to management reward and bonus. So there are some time whereby management, they're also looking for something, and they also have something to gain. So sometimes if you declare a low profit, that will reduce their bonus. So there are some time whereby fraud will be committed, but due to different reasons. And I'm sure that some of us will remember some of our elementary knowledge of fraud triangle. We have fraud triangle. Fraud triangle talks about give us the three reasons why people will commit fraud. And there's also some of us will remember. We have what do we call this? Fraud triangle. Yeah. just like we don't have this in our syllabus, not sure, but as an auditor, you just need to have it at the back of your mind. Oh, these are some of the things why people commit fraud. So there's what? There's pressure, there's opportunity, there's rationalization. Rationalization is going to be the word, the excuse that they will give, the justification that, oh, the reason why I contact is the reason for is because, oh, my son is sick and the hospital is not fine, so you want to take your son to private hospital. There's one particular case study like that. I think maybe it's an audit as well. The reason why the labor still is because his son is sick. There's also opportunity. Opportunity sometimes is usually as a result of what? Opportunity is also as a result of the loopholes in the internal control system. If our internal control system is not what is not fine, then that can give room for what? That can give room for people to also steal. Then another thing is also the word, the pressure. Pressure, like sometimes maybe, oh, my word, some of your friends, they are still what they are doing this, they are living fine, and everybody wants to belong as well. So those are the three reasons why people will commit fraud. So that was the reason that is given by what? The fraud triangle. And just for knowledge purpose as well, we also have fraud diamond. And the only difference between fraud diamond will try to tell us that fraud diamond had one to it, which is the capacity. That's for someone to engage in what? In fraud, someone must have the capacity. So that's one thing that what fraud diamond also would include, that there should be what? There's going to be capacity. Someone can just if someone that is strong, that will say that I want to carry bomb. So fraud diamond also look at it. You can see it's a 4. It's saying that, but there will be what? There will be capacity. The person must be like a people that have the words, that have the capacity. Like, okay, well, they have checked the company. Oh, this is where the money is being kept. They are studied it. So it will take when there's a fraud. It's not as if they could have been studying that particular organization for a while, so they are doing a lot of research. So it requires the capacity is also there, and that is one of the things that the fraud triangle also had. Fraud triangle is saying that, okay, well, someone that is engaging in fraud must also have the capacity to do. They have the technical know-how. Okay. So let's not go now. So there's a lot, even there are some words, and let's be honest, when we get to planning, there are some accounting standards as well that they can even use for what is prone to what? To creative accounting, especially what is this standard? IFRS 5. IFRS 5, non-current asset held for sales and discontinued operation. So because one of the things why it's prone to what? To creative accounting is when you classify an asset held for sales, you're not going to depreciate it anymore. Abi? So meaning that you are not debiting your POL. And if your depreciation reduce, what happens to your profit? Your profit will go up now, Abi. So
Yes.
and another thing is what if I say that this particular asset is held for sale, by next year the director could have left and they could have paid me the bonus. So and maybe the next director will come in, then you start depreciating. That's their own problem. But you have what that particular director has taken the bonus and he has left. And that's the reason what is causing the bonus now is the depreciation is having a significant impact in the POL. And everybody know that depreciation is a significant item. So if I can able to manage my depreciation, I classify it as held for sales, then indirectly my income is going up and the bonus will increase. So there's a lot of things that they can do. They can do what? Earnings management, just like the case of IFRS 5 that I'm using. Deliberate misstatement, falsification of accounting record, intentionally breaching accounting standard, knowing omitting disclosure. These are something you need to do. So let's say, for example, I think I was using Portman as a case study. You are supposed to do it. So when you check something financial statement and you feel that what you're supposed to make that disclosure, but you're not doing it, so why? And disclosure is very, very important. So what is now the what? What is the ISA 249 reverse? They say incentive or pressure to commit what fraudulent financial reporting can come from source within or outside of the entity. And within is usually what bonus. There was a case, I think don't worry, I'll send it out as well. And the case was on management paying bonus. Is it this class? Management paying bonus based on the management accounts that, okay, the first week in January now, they will pay bonus of what to their sales team. Okay, we are now asking now that what is wrong with that? What's the control weakness there? All of the control weakness. I mean, is it not this class? Yeah. We can try. What do you think is the control weakness there when bonus is being paid based on management account and in the first week of January? Yeah. Can anybody try? What do you think is the control weakness there? The account has not been audited, though, and they have paid their sales team.
The bonus should be, I think it should be towards the end of the year when they must have assessed and evaluated the.
No, bonus is usually after, the financial statement ending was in December. So
Yes.
they are now paying in the first week of January using the result of the management accounts, not the audited report.
Okay, not the audited account.
So that's there's still a control weakness because you should pay based on the words, based on the audited financial statement. So they should wait till the audit is completed. So there's a lot of reason why people want to commit fraud. It may be maybe creative accounting, fraudulent financial reporting. So some can be within, some can also be outside. And another situation which you have here is a times of economic recession or downtime. If things is not really going on very well within the country, there's a high tendency that people will manipulate financial statements. So in audits, if you have a recession or there's a maybe they are doing some redundancy, maybe management is trying to save costs. That situation is also an alert that there may be fraudulent stuff going on. So during a period of recession or during a period of high inflation, fraud is usually very, very high. So one of the things we used to do in financial reporting is to check what is the consumer price index last year. Now, what is the consumer price index this year? So if, just like, for example, you check inflation, because sometimes, at least most organizations, they can have a standard 1%. So, Madam Eze now, I'm going to increase your salary by 1%. Okay, that's standard. Then we'll not check it. What is the inflation? So if the inflation increase is let's say the inflation increases to 2%. So maximum, I cannot increase your salary more than 3%.
Yeah.
So, that's, to be honest, in finance, that should be, but this thing is not funny. So one thing is that you can now so in that period, and sometime maybe the inflation figure that they are using or that they are using is maybe some of those government reports are usually historical. So maybe the words like Nigeria now we have the MPS. So the MPS can say that maybe people in the north now are much they have more money than people in the south, and you'll be like, how? There will be that calculation can base on one variable that is not really that some of us can disagree with, and it may not really show the true position within that economy at that time. So during that period as well, it's likely that people they will just be declaring profit, but it's a lie. So look at this. I give one example called Alpha Company. This is there's an economic recession. The sales of the company has gone up by 5.8% over the last year. The company has lost several customer contracts as a result of economic recession. Is there a risk that revenue is what is misstated? Class, can we think of it? Do you think? Do you feel that revenue can be misstated? We lose contracts. People are going, and our revenue increase. You'll be seeing a lot of this scenario when we get to planning. When you're doing what are our risks of material misstatement. Like, what do you guys? Anyway, this is also another area like you rewards. You need to be skeptical. How do you do it? I think I was showing you guys one thing then. Let's say, for example, now we are giving information now that, oh, this company, you can see 2009, 2010 is increased, and you have lose a lot of customer. So how do you able to do it? So those are some of the information that they will be giving you in the planning. How? Because people don't have money. I mean, if you look at what maybe in our words in Nigeria now, where everything is currently very expensive, at least everywhere in the world. So I cannot feel that but some company words. I was looking at one company not long ago, at least in the consumer sector, especially those in the alcohol, they're still making profit. So I was speaking with one of my friends. Are people still buying drink in Nigeria? Because if you look at what the Nigerian bureau, their profit is still going up. So I was like, people say that they don't have money now. So where do you see the money to still buy alcohol? Because look at what, especially in the consumer sector, those in work, maybe international bureau in Nigeria, their profit is usually very high, and I'll be like, what is going on? Because if people did not have money, you should not buy drink. You know?
They go and drink up their sorrow now.
That's true. That's to be honest, that's the reply that my friend gave. Yeah. People not die. So despite what is going on, at least all those companies will still be making profit. Yeah. So those are some of the things we'll be looking at in the planning. You just need to be let's just be open-minded. Then where's the question, sir? Okay, here. So you have to work. There's a thinking point which I also want. This is the way the auditors should think. What if the decline in in sales is more than 5%? And the management has fabricated to show a decline of just 5%. So if they reduce it, here now they reduce it, the sales of the company has gone down by what? By 5%. You'll be like, okay, and that's fine now. No, that's not fine. Another thing that can come up here now is what? They can still reduce it. So meaning that it may be more than what? This may be more than 5% because they say the company has lost several customers as a result of the recession. There's a risk that their revenue, despite that it still drop, there's still something bad. So how should the auditor respond to earnings management? What's your responsibility? Management, to be honest, they are the one. Management is primarily responsible for preventing and detecting fraud through what? Through having a good internal control system. Auditor is not responsible for it. But what's the name of that case? And let's see how it. But that one is under professional liability, whereby the auditor did not conduct any tests on payroll, and later they discovered that payroll there's a problem in there's a problem in payroll, and the auditor will have to And I think let me just I think we can even maybe let me just show that. What's the name of that company? Sparkle, I think. Professional liability. This is it. The matter should be considered. Is it this? Should matter in the term. Okay, this one is on fraud. So you can see. They said the audit committee conducted an audit engagement and discovered that fraud that has been discovered. The company internal auditor estimated that so there's a payroll fraud. So, but you can see now what they are asking that explain the matter that should be considered in determining whether it's liable. Now, why? are we liable for this payroll fraud? This is what we look at last class. So the answer that words, this is why we are liable. The audit engagement partner commented that neither test of control nor substantive audit procedure were conducted on the payroll in the audit of the latest financial system. So there was no word. They didn't conduct anything at all. So what they are relying on now is that, oh, last year, everything is fine. You can see the audit engagement partner commented that neither test of control or substantive procedure were conducted in the payroll in the audit of the latest. As the previous year audits, there was no deficiency found in the in control over payroll. So can you now see now? So despite that, it is their responsibility, but the auditor as well, you need to have you still need to perform tests. So look at the conclusion now. This is what we look at. But this one is on what now? Oh, are they liable? You are liable, to be honest. Even though they are still the one responsible for it, but the auditor, you're also liable. At least we discussed it during the last one. So the auditor is responsible to prevent the fraud. However, the fact that the annual audit will be carried out as what still your auditor should try. Like if you look at this now, will you say that okay, the auditor is not responsible? You have a duty to do as well. You can say that they didn't do anything. So this client can go ahead and sue the auditor. So, however, auditor should plan and perform the auditor with attitudes of professional skepticism, realizing the fact that the financial statement could be materially misstatement. The auditor has a limitation. The auditor is done on sample basis. That's it, not sure. So focus on material aspect of the financial statement and also has a time pressure that sometimes there's some audit that they ask us to complete within 1 month, within 6 weeks. So despite that, there are some critical areas that we still need to check, and one of them is usually those people, HR and payroll. So I think that was good. So we'll continue this in the words. So we'll start with fraud by next class. So the question is on the group as well. So just try as much as possible. Just try through and you can send a solution once you're done. Try this not west, just like the way we talk about the Tony group. So we'll stop here for words. Stop here for today, then we'll continue in the words in the next class by God grace. So thank you, everyone. I don't know if you have any question. So I'll send the work file as well, so that's in case you guys want to update anything.
Remember the IAS summary?
Yeah, yes, I'll send that as well. So at least we can start with that one before we get to planning. So thank you, everyone, and have a word.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.